I'm KC. This is Tyler. This is 5 Live, and we have Spencer Neuharth with Meateater on right now. I'm used to saying, Wired to Hunt, which is a part of Meateater. I guess you're of both of those things nowadays. Is that correct?
That's right. The Meateater keeps growing, so you could say Spencer Neuharth is part of many different things.
Yeah, just a man of many hats. You actually have on a pretty cool hat. Show us that hat right there, man.
That is a Benchmade hat. It is the coolest hat I own, and I've already started getting where it's fading. It's not so black anymore.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you putting on your best for us tonight.
The best counts is like what I wear every day to work, then sure. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So since you've been in Montana, how much hunting have you actually done?
How much hunting have I done? As much as I used to do. It hasn't changed yet. It's just been like a very different style. Now that I'm in the mountains, I get my ass kicked elk hunting, I get my ass kicked bear hunting, get my ass kicked mule deer hunting. So I do just as much hunting, just less successful now.
Yeah. Party.
So that's all kind of new stuff for you then, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it's foreign. I mean, like we have elk in South Dakota where I'm from. We have mule deer in South Dakota where I'm from. But hunting those things in the prairies or like the Black Hills is very different than coming out here and being in the real mountains. So it's all new.
Have you actually hunted elk in South Dakota?
No. I had a cow tag once and I killed a cow. But as far as like bull tags go, archery and rifle, they're both like once in a lifetime draws. So I never hunted elk there.
Gotcha. That's cool. So I actually am probably, maybe depending on how the world goes, going to be going to spearfish this summer. Taking I'm a youth minister. Take my kids up there, and we're going to do a little mission trip in the spearfish area there at the base of the Black Hills. So have you spent much time in that area?
Yeah, I love spearfish. That's where I do like most of my turkey hunting there. When I would deer hunt in the Black Hills, it would be around spearfish. That's like one of my favorite parts of the Black Hills. It's a big area.
Spearfish?
What's that?
Do I need to bring my fly rod when we go?
You should. Yeah, anywhere you're going in like the northern Black Hills, I would bring my fly rod. And spearfish, if I remember this right, in like 2016 or something, Outside Magazine named it like its top mountain town. It's a really cool area under the radar. So if you're heading there for any reason, even if it's like just camping or vacationing, there's some like sweet wineries there and breweries, lots of good fly streams. Of course, if you're there in the spring or fall, you should be hunting.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool, man. I didn't know all that was going on up there, man. That's cool. So, back to Montana and hunting. Have you done whitetail hunting there?
No, not yet. I moved here last year just in time to like get my resident licenses, and I felt like it would be a sin if I didn't go and like try to kill a mule deer and just hunted whitetails like I've done all my life. So I went mule deer hunting. I killed a muley. But I think this fall I'm going to shift my focus back to hunting whitetails and try to hunt some of that like overlooked, under-hunted areas that are the river bottoms of like eastern Montana.
Yeah. So I know Marcus hunted there and had success like early season a little bit. Is that kind of what you're looking to do, or are you just throughout the season kind of guy?
Yeah, I would probably do some archery hunting, but I would be probably fairly picky because we have such a long rifle season that opens in like the end of October and goes until the end of November or early December. So there's a lot of opportunity there with the rifle that I'll give it a go with my bow, but I would see myself probably filling a tag with my rifle.
Yeah. So is it an either or tag, or do you have to choose whitetail or mule deer like right now or whenever you're applying?
Yeah, it's your general deer tag is good for either one. That's likely the tag that I'll get. I probably won't draw like a unit specific one. So then you can kill either deer. And there's a lot of areas you can end up in eastern Montana where you are hunting both. I know some guys from the Meateater office last year were hunting muleys like in the breaks, and a place that historically they'd only seen mule deer, and one of them came across like 150-inch whitetail So they're all over out there, and even like places that you wouldn't expect to come across them either.
Yeah. So when you say, I got a question here from somebody who's commenting, but real quick, when you say you're going to be picky, what does that look like?
Oh, yeah, picky maybe isn't the right word. I just probably wouldn't shoot like a 2.5-year-old deer, but like a 3.5-year-old, I would, because that rifle season is so long. I just don't feel like I have to kill the deer with my bow.
Yeah. So okay, so the rifle season is during the rut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up there. So like, are you pretty dead set on once rifles open, you're just a rifle guy?
Yeah, I don't know, because the way my fall always shapes up, there's like so much that gets stacked between the end of October and like the end of November. I'm sure it's the same way for you guys, that you might have like a month-long season, but you only like get in 5 days to go hunting. And so I'll probably make like a 5-day trip with my rifle, and that would be it.
Cool. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so to this question, Jojo Polanski says he's planning his first elk hunt, or she, I'm not sure, it's he or she, done a lot of scouting on maps, and I'm guessing they're asking for Montana. When do elk start moving to winter range? Is that by second rifle, or when does that happen?
Oh man, I was ignorant when I moved out here, and I thought that like if I don't kill one with my bow, that I'll just kill one with my rifle, because it's rifle hunting. It's way easier. But I quickly learned that it's not that simple. By the time rifle season opened, like this year and every year, those elk have been pushed around so much, and it kind of needs to be weather dependent as well. I know like in the southwestern part of the state, they got hit with a blizzard this year on elk opener, which is actually the same as deer opener for rifle. And there was like an incredibly low success rate for that. And so a lot of people told me, and I didn't believe them, in that like killing one with your bow is probably easier than killing with your rifle. But I've now like come around to that line of thinking. So as far as when they move to their wintering range, I don't have the answer to that, but like what they're doing on that rifle opener and for that whole month-long rifle season is totally different than what you saw them doing in early October, end of September, mid-September.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, okay, so I know a lot of people deer hunt. I hear this in the Western crowd. Okay, like deer for fun, elk for food. Have you heard that little scenario or that phrase? So. And being at Meateater, that's your employer now. We live in a world right now where suddenly in the past couple of weeks, there's a lot more emphasis and people at least jokingly talking about like what's it going to take to actually go out and make meat, as opposed to, I mean, I know at our grocery stores locally, there's no chicken and beef, at least on some days, and it's not, we're not trying to scare people, right? Like, and this is not time to be afraid, it's conscious of what's going on. So, for you and your family, I guess it's just you and your wife, right? So for y'all, like, what steps do you take specifically for making meat for the family? Like, what do you look at for like how many animals you need, and then like how much ground versus roast and that kind of sort of stuff are you doing?
Yeah, like this last fall, I want to say that I killed 4 deer. I think it was. I didn't kill an elk. And you had asked about like being picky with an elk. I wouldn't have been picky at all. With my bow or my rifle, I would have killed any legal bow, which in most areas, it might be all areas actually, it has to be a branch antler bull, so you can't kill like a spike. I would have absolutely killed one if given the chance.
Yeah.
But like speaking to the coronavirus thing, we just had an article on Meateater.com by Miles Nolte talking about how like outdoors people are the most prepared for a pandemic like this. Like you said, you go to the grocery store and there's just like no protein available. And I saw the same thing here in Bozeman, and Bozeman's a huge outdoor community. Everybody that you run into that's a stranger, like they hunt and fish and they get elk tags and deer tags. So everyone around here like fills their freezer with wild meat. But even when you go to the grocery store, there's just like no chicken around. And like, speaking to that, we are prepared for coronavirus. It's like it would be hard to fathom for somebody who's not an outdoors person to like look at, you know, one of our freezers and see that there's just like top to bottom red meat in there. So that's like an awesome feeling, and it's like super satisfying to look at your freezer and see that, and it's like you kind of don't understand why until something like this happens. Then it like makes sense. You're like, oh yeah, that's comforting, even if you don't realize it. And not only just like the meat aspect with coronavirus, but just like staying sane. My buddies who are skiers, they can't go skiing. My buddies who like watching sports, they can't watch sports. My buddies that like want to go and hang out at a golf simulator on the weekend, they can't do that. But for the most part, people who like to shed hunt or mushroom hunt or turkey hunt, this largely won't affect them, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's something that I don't think like a lot of people consider. Those people who love sports, they're going to be without sports for, you know, months. The Olympics just got postponed, but the guys who like to turkey hunt, that's still a few weeks away.
Yeah, no kidding, man. So speaking of turkeys, that's you're talking about red meat you're filling the freezer. At some point, I mean, yeah, you can survive on it for a long time, but you're gonna want something light, some fish or something probably.
Yeah.
Or turkey or whatever. So like you know, how interested are you in those types of species when you're thinking about filling your freezer for, you know, periods of time, I guess?
Yeah, I will like kill as many turkeys as possible. And when I lived in South Dakota, that was like a great place to be if you wanted to kill turkeys, because as a resident, you could get like an archery tag. You could get 2 tags for the Black Hills, like where you're going, KC. You could get like multiple prairie shotgun tags. And so, and then you could get tags in the fall as well. When I lived there and I was a resident, I was killing 5 or 6 turkeys a year, and I'm not even that good of a turkey hunter. So I love like wild turkey meat. Montana is similar. You can get a load of tags here, but it's just like way more challenging. It's not your textbook turkey country, so it's a lot tougher than just like going and finding some farmer in eastern South Dakota who has a bunch of turkeys and doesn't give a crap about them and tells you to shoot 2 if you got 1 tag, because that's just how they feel about them. It's a little bit different out here.
Yeah. Well, we were there in 2018 in the summer, I think. Yeah. We were driving down the road there by the river. Just what river runs through Bozeman? What is that? I don't remember.
You got the Gallatin.
The Gallatin. So we were driving down that road that's on the west side of Gallatin, and there's like turkeys in the ditch right now. And they might be farm turkeys, I don't know, but we were like, look at these berries. Yeah, there's a few of them around. How much consideration do you put into, you know, we're talking about freezers. Like, if stuff hits the fan and like suddenly we don't have electricity, then I'm in trouble because I don't have preserved stuff, right? And like I said, we're not trying to scare anybody, but it's stuff to talk about, right? Have you done any camping or anything like that when it comes to meat?
Yeah, I think everybody would be in the same boat in that scenario. Luckily, I don't live in Texas, so there would be like a grace period where right now it's snowing outside my house.
It's 80 here, so yeah.
Yeah. So if the electricity went out here and I had to mess with a freezer, I would have a little bit more time than you guys.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a couple more questions here. Carson Smith says, did you pheasant hunt when you lived in South Dakota? And I guess that's kind of another smaller version of a turkey.
Yeah, yep. I did out of obligation. Where I grew up in the southeastern corner of the state, and that's like the pheasant capital of the world. I know a lot of places claim to be, but that literally is like the best place if you want to go and kill a public land pheasant. Like central South Dakota to southeastern South Dakota is the place to be. So I did pheasant hunt. It wasn't my favorite thing. I never had like a quality dog that, you know, gives it that extra level of fun. But mostly I love the camaraderie of it. There's like few activities in hunting that you can go do with a group of like 5 or 6 friends. And that's where pheasant hunting is different for me. And then it's just also like super chill. If I went out and I missed a turkey or missed a deer, I'd be real upset. I even get more upset if I missed like a duck or a goose, but missing a pheasant was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's relaxing in that way. And then in South Dakota, they have the noon opener, and it stays that way the whole season until like the third week of the season. Then you can hunt at 10 a.m. But having that noon opener also adds like another level of relaxation to it. There's no like setting an alarm at 4:30 a.m. And like getting out in the woods all groggy and hating yourself for staying up too late the night before. That never happens with pheasants, so I enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah. You know, you like
just like, I'm spoiled by it living there. I never truly appreciated how good it was, but now that I've moved away, like I miss seeing them in the ditch and stuff.
Yeah, you know, you like the camaraderie side of it, where five or six dudes. You should come down here and do the public land hog hunt with us, man. It's like pheasant hunting, except you're using double-aught buckshot and you're shooting 250-pound animals. It's pretty slick.
Like
and a good reason to get away from Montana in cold February. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So TC Boyer had a question. I'm a Missouri resident, and he's read in a few places that the Missouri Conservation Department is going to not make you buy a fishing license. What are your thoughts on this?
Not make you buy a fishing license. I haven't heard that one yet. I feel like I'm in the minority with licenses that I'm always okay with paying a little bit more because, you know, all that money goes to the state and it helps open up more access and stock more fish and create better habitat. And so, like South Dakota just talked about introducing a $5 habitat stamp, and they got shouted down by a lot of the public, but it's like $5. So what? And when 100,000 people do that, or whatever the number is of hunters that come in, that makes like an enormous difference. And so I don't know the reasoning behind Missouri getting rid of fishing licenses, but I'm always okay paying like an extra $20 or whatever it is for a year's worth of enjoyment to go outside like dozens of times and do that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you're hunting or fishing, like you're probably spending some money anyway, like $5, you know.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yep. It's like Steve Rinella has said this many times, but guys always no. He meets a lot of people that go cheap on optics, so they'll like spend, you know, $45 on a pair of Barskas from Walmart or whatever. But then at the same time, when they drive to go hunting, they're in like a $30,000 pickup. So it's just like you make one small little sacrifice somewhere else, and that suddenly makes a big difference in, you know, your optics or just buying that extra $20 license.
Yeah. You know, about 2 years ago, it was on the ballot in Texas and passed that we gained hunting and fishing as a right. So the right to hunt and fish, which made conservatives everywhere, woo, you know, which I usually identify towards that side of the aisle, but I could really... How do you feel about people considering it a right and not a privilege? It's, you know, since we're talking about this license thing, do you think that that's a good move for people to like preserve the right to it, or should we always feel like it's something we could lose?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough one. It certainly feels like a right, but like within reason. Like there's a reason that bag limits exist, and if this was just a free-for-all, we'd absolutely have a tragedy of the commons. All the walleye would be gone, all the deer would be killed, things like that. And so it's a right, but people still need to accept that like there are regulations that go with this, and they're there for a reason. It's not because the state hates you or because insurance companies are in their back pocket or something like that.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, cool, man. Thanks for spending some time with us, dude, and sorry for the tough question. I thought we had one come in. We might have one more for you here.
Yeah, he said he thinks they're avoiding it this year due to the whole shortage, food shortage.
Oh, so it's a temporary kind of thing, like coronavirus or whatever, because of food shortage.
Yeah.
So
what's that? I missed that.
Go ahead.
So the question, the guy that posed the question said that he thinks they're avoiding it because of the food shortage, because of the virus. So it's that temporary thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for that reason, I could get behind it, sure. That seems like a good move because it's not like coronavirus at this point isn't just a health thing. There's like as many people that are going to go bankrupt as there are going to die. And so I'd absolutely be okay with like a temporary relaxation on charging people for fishing. That sounds like a really good move.
So how long do you have to live in Montana before you can run for state representative, Spencer?
Not interested.
You're the guy for the job.
Yeah. That's okay.
Cool. So thanks for spending time with us tonight, man. I know it's kind of getting late. Actually, not for you. You're doing fine. It's 8:30 here, and we're hot. So it's time to wrap it up. But if people want to find out more about what you got going on this fall and then about Meateater, where should we send them to?
Go to the Meateater.com. We have like 2 to 3 new articles a day that are hunting, fishing, conservation, and cooking. Those are kind of our 4 verticals, the things that we cover.
The 4 pillars.
Have an expansive podcast network. Basically every single day there's a new podcast coming out between the Meateater podcast, Wired to Hunt, Cal's Week in Review, and then we have some new stuff coming out as well. If you guys like fishing, you're going to want to check out the Meateater.com in these coming months for some new videos, podcasts, articles, things like that.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Well, thanks for spending time with us, man. Y'all stay safe and stay warm up there.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. See ya.
All right. See you, brother.